Hey guys, it's Monday, August 19th, and I want to read you something. All right, so this article just came out. It's from something called The Cradle. Israel sought to bypass foreign agent law to spread propaganda in the US. All right, our book, which came out, I don't know, a week ago, um, JFK and RFK's Secret Battle Against Zionist Extremism, covers the multi-decade issue that this is. And if you don't know about it, let me give a really short explanation. If you are representing a foreign government in the United States, you're supposed to register. And that means you have to declare where your money's coming from and how you're spending it. Israel has, against the wishes of John F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy, and that's what's documented in our book. Very rare to see this in a book, and we've got all the papers. Israel has somehow managed to evade this despite the best efforts of Robert F. Kennedy Sr. And John F. Kennedy. That's why our book is so important, because Israel cannot continue to abuse the United States and bribe every congressman with a pulse if they're allowed to evade this foreign agent law. This is the foundation of the whole problem. Now, the maniacs that are in Israel, um, they're not going to, they're not going anywhere. But we can certainly stop their illegal influence on our politicians. And we really need to do it, guys. It's about time. It's past time. That's why we wrote the book. I hope you bought the book. I hope you bought several copies if you're able. I hope you gave one to your library. I hope you're spreading the word on it, because this is serious. And we have the only tool that does this. However, we now have this article that someone just came out coincidentally. Israel sought to bypass foreign agent law to spread propaganda in the US. Now, I'm going to read it to you. This dog is someone named Amici Shikli. I don't know where he came up with that name. Israel Minister of Diaspora Affairs, who oversees distributing Israel propaganda in the US. Okay. Well, this is a pretty significant guy, isn't he? So all those lies and all that bullshit you see on TV and coming out of the mouths of our corrupt politicians, this is the bag man right here. All right, so a new investigation reveals that the Israeli government sought to create third-party nonprofit groups to funnel funds to Jewish and Christian groups spreading Israeli propaganda. You better believe it. We all knew this was happening, but it's good to have it documented. The Israeli government sought legal advice on how to bypass U.S. federal law governing the spreading of propaganda among the U.S. population by foreign states. An investigation published on August 17th by The Guardian in collaboration with journalists Lee Fang and Jack Polson. Those guys are on the job, man. My hat's off to them. Here's the deal, and it's in our book. We even have the actual copy of the law so you can read it. U.S. federal law requires, doesn't suggest, doesn't wish, doesn't hope, doesn't pray, requires the disclosure of foreign-backed lobbying campaigns. But leaked documents reviewed by The Guardian show the Israeli government sought legal advice concerning the law out of concern that Jewish and Christian Zionist lobbying groups working in coordination with the Israeli government would be required to register as foreign agents and disclose their ties to Israel. So our book is the history of this. It's the history of the fact that the Kennedys were aware of this problem. They were fighting it hard in the summer of 1963. And John F. Kennedy got a bullet in the back of the head in the fall of 1963. And his brother got a bullet in the back of the head in 1968. And any effort by any politician in this country ever to get the Israeli government to follow the law has been gone by the wayside. But the Israelis, they're pushing it. And I'm not going to call them Israelis, because there's a lot of Israelis that are anti-Zionist. There are many Israelis that are completely opposed to the genocide, the ongoing genocide in Gaza, which it clearly is. So we're going to call them Zionists. They are not Israel. Anyway, it's the Zionist extremists that are behind what's going on. They're not Jewish, and they're only Israeli by name. if you don't, by the way, if you don't understand that Jews and are not Zionists and Zionists are not Jews, we've done a whole video on it with a Orthodox rabbi. Uh, his name is Yaakov Shapiro. He's written a 1,300 plus page book called The Empty Wagon. He explains the whole thing. Judaism's been around for thousands of years. Radical, extremist, political, ideological Zionism is like 150 years old, right? And it's a political ideology, has nothing to do with religion at all. So we're going to call them Zionists because that's what they are. So anyway, what Israel has been doing is working with these idiot, yeah, I would say, well, they call them Jewish. They're not. They're Zionists, U.S. Zionist groups. And they call these people Christians. I run into Christians all the time that think that they're doing something good by supporting Israel, come hell or high water. You people are idiots. You're not Christians. Tell me where in the Bible it says, where Jesus said, well, there are certain cases where we massacre children in order to help the Jews. No, that does not appear in the Bible. Get your heads out of your stupid asses. Anyway, Israel's a little worried because they realize they're yet again breaking the law. And they're funneling money to Jewish and Christian Zionist lobbying groups, and they're coordinating with the Israeli government. That makes them foreign lobbyists. These Jewish and Zionist lobbying groups need to register as foreign agents of the state of Israel, and they are not doing it. They are breaking the law. The documents, which include emails and legal memos originating from a hack of the Israeli Justice Ministry, show that Israeli officials propose creating a new U.S. nonprofit in order to continue Israel's activities in the U.S. while avoiding scrutiny under the law. Lee Fang and Jack Paulson write a legal strategy memo dated July 2018. No, by the way, notice how this all preceded the current disaster. They work on this nonstop. A legal strategy memo dated 2018 noted that compliance with the Foreign Agent Registration Act, FARA, would damage the reputation of several American groups. So in other words, having to follow the law, this is the same bullshit that the various prime ministers of Israel, because Kennedy dealt with two of them, this is the same bullshit that they fed Kennedy. Oh, it would make us look bad if we had to register as a foreign agent. Well, that's what you are. I mean, it's like saying, well, if we had to get a driver's license, you're a foreign nation. You're not part of the United States. I mean, it's mind-boggling that there are people that still need this explained to them. A separate memo noted that donors would not want a fund group registered under the Foreign Agent Registration Act. Okay, so you're one of these people who thinks Israel über alles. You don't care about tens of thousands of children being murdered and maimed and starved. You don't care. You just want to support Israel. And but you don't want to do it if you've got to be connected with the Foreign Agents Registration Act. You want to really do it in the shadows, in the dark. So the Zionists who control Israel and have since day one, they're very interested in the money that they receive from these idiot donors, and they're trying to protect that cash flow. The memo says the Israeli government was worried about FARA, that's the law, because it compels registrants to fly any piece of any piece of propaganda that is distributed to two or more parties in the U.S. with a disclaimer stating that it was delivered by a foreign agent, and then submit a copy of the propaganda to the U.S. Department of Justice within 48 hours. Got that? Here's how the law works. I'm India, or I'm, Burma, or whatever they call it now, or I'm New Zealand, and I want to influence people in the United States on the behalf of my country, maybe against the best interests of Americans, but it's for my behalf, right? So I'm allowed to do that. That the law allows for it. But if I do it, anything I do in the US that's distributed to two or more people, so I can give it to one person, I'm okay. But if I put it on a blog post, I am now required to follow the law, which means, one, the disclaimer, Two, I have to notify the U.S. Department of Justice. Hey, we just made this Twitter tweet. Thank you, Elon Musk. Fake, phony, fraud. And we posted that to Twitter or X or whatever he's calling it now. And here it is. Here's the text. But the Israeli government doesn't want to do that. They don't want to follow the law because they want to just continue their genocide. So to prevent FAR registration and the stigma of following the law, do you realize if you're an American business person or just a regular person and you have a bank account overseas with $10 in it, you have to file with the what is it called? The Financial Crimes Information Network or something. FINCA. I think that's the right spell. Anyway, those of you who know what it is know what it is. You can look it up and find it pretty quickly. If you have $10 in a Canadian bank account, you have to file as if you're a criminal. All right. That's just the way our beautiful government works. But anyway, to prevent fair registration and the stigma and scrutiny, well, they want to avoid scrutiny. Oh, I'm so sorry. You want to murder children 24/7 over, how many months is it now? 9 months? And you want to, or just more than 9 months. 9, 10. And you just don't want any scrutiny related to the people that are giving you money to make that possible. So anyway, to prevent FAR registration and the stigma and scrutiny associated with it, the legal advisors, and thank God for lawyers, right? Because they make all good things happen in this world. The legal advisors suggested channeling funds through a third-party U.S. nonprofit. In other words, laundering funds. In other words, acting in a deliberate program of deception to evade following the federal law, the Foreign Agents Registration Act. And we could go on and on about this, but I think it's pretty clear. Now, where did these documents come from? Okay, the group, they went ahead and did it, looks like. The group was formed in 2017 by Israel's Ministry of Strategic Affairs to distribute Israeli propaganda. Rebranded as Concert in 2018 and Voices of Israel in 2021, the group focused on undermining the, I can never figure out, the BDS, that's Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions, I got it, movement, which leads boycott, divestment, and sanctions campaigns against Israel in protest of its illegal occupation of Palestine and apartheid laws, which is the least of government of Israel's crimes, but it's one of the many. That's how we shut down the brutal apartheid state of South Africa, right? And boy, our country, you look the wrong way and you're going to have all kinds of sanctions put on your ass. How many sanctions do we have on Iran? How many sanctions do we have on Russia? How many sanctions do we have on Venezuela? Right? But poor little Israel, you can't have a popular movement calling for boycott, divestment, and sanctions. Oh no, we can't have that because they are holy. They're God's chosen people. And again, this is the Zionists. I don't know any sane, rational, decent Jew that carries on that way. None of them. They're all appalled at what's going on. But it's these political ideology people. They wrap themselves in their Star of David. They're frauds from A to Z. And you can't boycott them. How do you boycott Israel? Well, what's the thing? Dates. You got to watch out for dates because a lot of those come from land that Israel's stolen. So if you see dates being sold by Israel, don't buy them. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. But Israel doesn't want that. They want to undermine the BDS movement in the dark. In other words, government money goes to this fake group, Voices of Israel, and then it gets dispersed to the Christian Zionist morons who are supporting a criminal regime and genocide. Anyway, let's credit to where credit's due. The emails and documents were released by Distributed Denial of Secrets, or DDoS Secrets, a US-based nonprofit. God bless them. Give them all the credit for this. The documents were obtained by someone called Anonymous for Justice, a self-described hacktivist collective that announced in April it had infiltrated Israel's military of justice and received hundreds of gigabytes. Whoa. I thought they were going to say hundreds of documents. Gigabytes. You can fit a lot of documents into a gigabyte. Well. I thought Israel had the greatest cybersecurity technology in the world. I thought they were the leaders of cybersecurity. And here their Ministry of Justice can't even keep their own records straight. You know what you know what the Israeli cyber security industry is all about? Planting their readers into your software and into your companies, into your organizations, so they know what you're doing. This is proof positive of how incompetent they are at even basic cybersecurity. Probably, though, somebody with a conscience that works for the Ministry of Justice just handed these things over. That's how 99.9% of all breaches take place. But anyway, I want to go back to this headline. I'm a little heated over this, but it's just frustrating. They're obviously breaking fundamental US law. There's no question about it. There's no doubt about it. There's no spin on it. There's no discussion. And they're getting away with it. And it's the foundation of the genocide. Pull this thing out from under their legs, and they can't continue their bribery program. I mean, they can still do their blackmail thing, but the bribery thing is not going to be working so well anymore. I want to show you the book. This is the American history you were not taught in school. Okay, that once we had a president and an attorney general, that while they were cordial and in general supportive of Israel, did not take their shit. And they went up against Israel in the summer of 1963. This is not theory. This is not speculation. This is not conjecture. We have the documents, the telegrams, the actual telegrams, the cables, the memorandums, and there's some newspaper articles that are relevant too. You can read the original stuff in the book. You don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to read some long narrative. You can just go see the Kennedys were in a battle with the Zionists in Israel. They had two things they were fighting them on. One, they wanted them to stop bullshitting around and register their country's propaganda activities in the United States, like every other country, like England, like Canada, like New Zealand. Like nobody's allowed to do the things Israel gets away with routinely. The other thing they were trying to stop was Israel developing an atomic weapons program, which they went ahead and did. And by the way, it's no longer, well, it's accepted history at this point that the way Israel did it was by theft. Okay, there's a nuclear materials facility near Pittsburgh. Forget what it's called, the town. Interestingly enough, it's near the place where Trump almost got shot. It's only about 40 miles away. And anyway, 300 kilograms of enriched uranium went missing over a 30-year period. We now know that James Jesus Angleton, this is in the book too, by the way. You won't find it in many places. It's all sourced, no speculation, that James Jesus Angleton, who just happened to be the head of counterintelligence for the CIA, and just happened to be the head of the Israeli desk for the CIA at the same time, unprecedented, illogical, does not happen. Yet somehow this guy was running all counterintelligence for the CIA while acting as the head of the Israel desk for the CIA. He was part of the creation of Mossad, and it is now known that this guy was involved in helping Israel get this enriched uranium. In other words, he was a traitor. In other words, he committed a capital crime. I'm giving away everything in the book, but I hope you go out and get it anyway. Guess who was the master of the JFK assassination cover-up? Guess who would literally, when a CIA agent died, would get on a plane and fly to the home of his wife and clean out the guy's library with all his notes and books to make sure that there was no trace of anything related to the JFK assassination? That would be James Jesus Angleton. So the very same guy that was literally led, not speculation, not hyperbole, literally led the cover-up, the CIA cover-up of the Kennedy assassination, is the same guy who participated in the theft of refined uranium that Israel built its illicit nuclear weapons program on. That's what the Kennedys were fighting. in the summer of 1963. And guys, I need your help. You got to be talking about this book. You got to be posting about it. If you can buy it, buy it. If you've already bought it and read it, you please go and give a review, because once the other side figures out that this book exists, we're going to be getting all kinds of 1 ratings and so on. But in any event, I just want to show you this current art. I mean, God bless these guys for pulling this off. Okay, this is a current headline. So this thing that we were reporting the historical roots of is now in the news. I mean, the cradle is not, the biggest circulating thing in the world, but it's out there. People who have the will to know can know about it. Israel has gotten some weird pass that they never have to register their propaganda efforts, unlike every other country in the world. I'm telling you guys, it's the foundation of their power. If this is taken away from them, they're done. Okay? They're pretty much done, because they run on money and they run on bribery. Okay? Right? There are a lot of people that are willing to hold their nose and, violate the shred of conscience they have left in order to get that money. Once the Israelis, the Zionists, don't have the money to throw around and they have to register all the money they're throwing around, this catastrophe ends. That's why we knocked ourselves out to get this book out in a timely fashion. I really, really, really hope you'll support it. Okay? It's not hard to do, just post, you got Twitter account, right? Facebook account. Maybe they'll take it off. I don't know. Maybe they'll ban you for life. I'm still banned by Twitter, guys. I 6 email appeals, letter to their legal. They won't even answer, right? You might get banned too. What can I tell you? But at least you went out, you went out on your feet. You didn't go out on your knees, Anyway, kind of a heated recording here, but all's well. Book's doing pretty good. We're takes a bit to build a groundswell. This information is going to get out. This information will be known. This is not going to be buried. Okay, and the more Americans know this, the simple fact that Israel is violating the foreign agents law, and they've been violating it since the 60s, and John F. Kennedy personally took an interest with his brother, Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, in stopping it. If every American knew this, we would have a different country and we'd have a different world. So do your best to spread the word. Okay, great. Thanks a lot.